Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the CloudSapio Cybersecurity Sync. I am joined today by Lonnie McRorey. He is from Framework Science, and I apologize, Lonnie, what was the other name that you gave me right before the call?
Oh, TeamStation AI. We've transformed into the AI platform.
TeamStation AI. Well, thank you for joining us today on the podcast to talk about maybe some AI stuff and some technology stuff. So why don't you just give us a quick little intro on Lonnie and a little bit of your background.
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on your podcast, Matt. And I love sharing our story. I think a lot of people can connect with it because it's a story of failures, a story of every single challenge and what's difficult. We got to focus on what's difficult. So I've been in the industry for over 25 years. I work for large organizations in the United States. I'm a product manager by trade, cognitive science major at Temple University, which I didn't use the degree until now because it's, you have more AI stuff coming in and now it's becoming even more relevant. Sure. So cognitive science is a really interesting field, especially in the human-centered AI component where we're actually creating right now. But anyways, I've worked with many companies and built products, and I worked with companies internationally. We had teams all over the world, from India, Ukraine to Latin America, Argentina, and I also work with outsourcing companies and helping them set themselves up and provide services in the United States as well. Design products, DevOps stuff, and also I'm very strong on the side of the human capital management technology side, since my previous experiences led me to understand better how we connect humans to business objectives. And this is actually what I'm doing now. It's like a big giant circle. And now I'm coming back and saying it's time to shake things up and get rid of the resume, get rid of the job description.
That's fantastic. Appreciate that background. Thank you for that context. Can you tell us a little bit about what TeamStation AI is? What is it that you guys are building, and what is it that you're looking to achieve?
All right, so TeamStation AI came out of sheer necessity and frustration that the entire outsourcing industry, the nearshore IT outsourcing, and even the offshore IT outsourcing industry, is basically dominated by large vendors. Small vendors have a hard time getting into a mid-sized market. So it's completely controlled and manipulated, and there's a huge, just say you have the big players, and a small company, even though they have great services, they cannot provide services to a large company because of insurance, liability, accountability. So everything's been done kind of like like the old school way, through emails and through just short little portals, maybe if they're that advanced, but it's still a very unregulated industry. And this industry is starting to have more issues. If you notice that some of these, some vendors have been coming into the light in the United States for cybersecurity issues. There was one large Indian company was providing services to a bank in the United States, and their contractors, because not having control of those devices from the vendor side, it put this company, they had a breach. So now this vendor's getting sued, and I'm thinking that's exactly what we were thinking a long time ago, saying, well, how come this industry is not regulated? How come there's no checks and balances? Oh yeah, we're CMMI or we're ISO, and yeah, you can have all those certifications, but a U.S. company cannot see the transparency in real time because there are no systems out there that brings the U.S. company and the vendor together for them to actually build, provide services, or either you're adding engineers or you're building products and so forth. There's nothing to completely, allow the client to interact with that vendor. And so I was coming out of a product company, and I decided to, actually it was more of a service company out of Tijuana, and I noticed all the negative stuff of this company and a lot of the other companies. They just take advantage of the client, right? And they also take advantage of the talent, and they're there to make money off the backs of those engineers. And I said, there's something wrong with this industry. It's not controlled, regulated, and not only in Mexico, but Latin America, even Canada, or even offshore. They're just taking advantage of the talent. They just want to make money off the backs of these people, right? So that's their business model. And I said, I want to do it better. I want to automate it. I want to make it easier. I want to provide a framework based on science, how we build teams. What is a scientific approach for us to be able to align human capacity to business objectives? So we started a company called Framework Science 7 years ago. I set up shop in Tijuana, built a team, and started kind of saying, I need the following tools. And so I started engaging Google, and they have a product called Google Hire back then in 2017. And I started asking for features which they didn't have, but they thought it was kind of interesting. So they allowed me, they invited me to become part of their product advisory board there for that product. So it was really cool because I started engaging with the team, and I brought some of those ideas, my experience from the human capital management side. And typical Google, right? You have a great thing, they will kill it, So they said, Lonnie, we're shutting down the platform, but I think you should build it yourself because there's nothing out there with those features. Because I would have to buy a lot of different products out there to do this entire business and give total control to the client. And that's how we need to do these things, right? So I ended up I had to act quickly, design an ATS, design an interface with the client that their team and our team are working together, building. Then I said, well, if I'm building a team, I need to onboard them. I need to track their devices. I need to track their invoices. We need to invoice the client. So, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, from all these different requirements, business requirements. We transfer them into the actual technology. Then we automated it. And then we said, well, we need to go faster since we're building our own database. We created our own job board. We did all these things, and the client sees every single component of the entire process. And so we started, the client said, wow, we never seen this kind of interaction, this interface. So out of sheer necessity, the lesson here is sometimes you'll get into these, when you really pay attention to your business processes, you will realize that there's never going to be a solution that's going to be completely aligned. I mean, you're going to have to purchase a lot of different tools. And we're at a stage now in technology, I'm going to say, at the exponential rate that we need to build technology, it keeps going faster and faster and faster. And companies don't have the operational systems for them to adapt to that velocity, especially if you're doing it kind of like any kind of IT staff augmentation, you got to build, purchase tools, but you're still missing out on decision making, right? So when you're really into your business process, you're creating your own process, and you want to have certainty, continuity, and predictability for the client. So you want to be able to kind of replicate that, and you want to go faster, but you can't because you're limited just to the tools that you have in the marketplace. So sometimes, I'm not saying that everybody should do what I did. I was just like really ticked off, and I was motivated, and I said, well, we can do this, and also I had the skill sets. I'm just saying that also businesses are quick to go into an area or attack a certain market space thinking that they're going to have success without even testing it effectively. And then, we're going to need the following tools for us to be able to handle that kind of growth. And then they have to backtrack, they take a step back, sideways, whatever. But anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked here. What we encountered ourselves and the challenges we were facing it was like a lot of putting all the pieces together, having a really good vision of how we wanted the output to be. So we were thinking about output, we're thinking about the scalability. I learned about scalability. I learned the scalability about a system. So it's not always having the most complex system. It's about making the system completely efficient and being fast, being accurate. And this leads into people rushing into artificial intelligence development. They don't even know about the data structure and the classifications that need to happen before you even think about it. So you're putting dirty data into an AI or whatever model you're going to purchase outside the box. That's what you're going to get, And it's the same thing. All these systems out there are consuming data from resumes. And this is going back to what we had to do for us to become more accurate, how we align talent. Is we were noticing that a lot of the resumes were either underwritten or like they have less information. Engineers are like, their resumes are like reading stereo instructions. And so I said, well, I don't trust it. And so I started digging into, why are we using a resume when everything's going so much faster? Why aren't we using other things for us to align human capacity to business objectives? So then once we had the entire business process in the platform, I started thinking, there's some major issues here. I started seeing other problems is, yeah, we have a lot of recruiters that are doing this, and we're hiring talent, we're hiring engineers, we're evaluating them, but it takes a surmountable, a paramount of human beings just for the output to be so small.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite. It's maximum input with minimum output. I said, no, I need minimum input with maximum output. Right. And I said, what's the problem here? I said, no, because it takes us so much time for us to identify somebody that could fit this business objective and the technology stack and so forth. And I was like, okay, that's because we're taking information from our resume, and the resume is completely biased. And I said, okay. Number two, business objectives. I mean, does the job description really define what the company's really all about, and how are they going to achieve that objective in that technology stack? What if there's technology stack, they start building and they realize, hey, we need to fit and we have to use out these other technologies because the entire market changed. So guess what? That role that you hire for, they're out. So we have a huge problem in the industry. Number one, we're over hiring. Look at Microsoft, look at these large companies, because they don't even know the skill sets that are actually available in their company, who's available for that. No, they have to go over hired and figure it out. But we're building AI and we need to go faster. We have this entire $1 billion applicant tracking system business, or HR, the HR tech, and I'm calling BS on this. Number one, if we are consuming data from a resume that is biased, what are we going to get out of it? Biased data.
Yep.
But guess what? We still need to have human beings validating that this is the right person. Oh, let the AI interview him. You're still wasting time. You're wasting everybody's time.
Right.
So you say, what does this have to do with everything? It's like, oh, I started doing some research. Here's an interesting story for you guys, and this might be kind of interesting. So I said, when was the first resume ever, recorded in history? Do you know?
When was it? I don't actually.
1482, Leonardo da Vinci.
No kidding.
And guess what? Leonardo lied. He lied. He said, yes, all these projects that he created, he only did a couple, and he got the gig, but he lied on his resume. So from 1482 to 2024, has anything changed? Nothing. The first job description for a technical position, and I got into this, man. I was like, I want to know what the real problem is. What is the scientific approach to all this? So we need to do this research. And I said, when was the first job description ever, published for a technical role in media? 1911 for a science manager. The job description was so overloaded, they never filled the position, and the ad was running for over a year.
Wow.
Has anything changed? No, we just moved everything to a digital platform, and we're saying, oh, we got the latest, greatest, and nobody wants to solve the problem. They just want to basically put you on a SaaS payment wheel for the rest of your life, and thinking that you're just going to be just a tad bit faster. So how are we solving this? Oh, I got into it, man. So yes, we have to ask a lot of critical questions. Once we capture the initial information, the initial one, then the updating of that person's capacity, you put that on a radiograph, and you can see the entire wheel of all who they are, their communication, problem solving, and everything. You throw that on a JSON file. All right. That JSON file can be fed information, could be read through an API. You throw that JSON resume on top of that blockchain. And so then use WhatsApp. You can feed that resume, that JSON file. It's not even a resume anymore. It's more of like your human capacity profile. And as you're learning, and you have these different interactions with different companies and different tickets and so forth. You can have a lot of data can be read. You learn a new skill today. Now you have this capacity.
Right.
A resume doesn't do that. You got to keep writing that resume. Are you going to get accurate? You're not going to be able to describe everything about who you are. But if we use technology for us to be able to update that continuously, why do we want to do this? Because eventually we have enough data that we're modeling right now. So we're saying, we're detecting this person. We evaluated, yeah, great engineer. How are they doing? And why do we predict that the person was going to be successful? Number 3, what is the one question after you hire somebody? Right after you hire them, what is the one question that you ask yourself?
How are they going to do?
Did we hire the right person?
Did we hire the right person? Okay.
Why are we even asking ourselves that question at this stage?
Right.
We're doing AI, but we can even figure out if we hire the right person. Isn't that kind of like, are you kidding me? So we need to be able to focus now we need to be able to predict performance. Oh, Lonnie, then you're getting into some issues there. No. You have enough information that can say this person, yes, made mistakes. However, you know that they're going to act under these different situations in these environments, that they're going to deliver this capacity. So if we can say, we don't want the best performers because I want the best performers. Sometimes I'd rather have somebody that can solve problems than, yeah, they're performing well. They are delivering on time. Are they bringing any other value? So we're missing out on all these other opportunities. So all this, I'm saying that we need to have enough data for us to then learn and do heuristics training, and that we are focusing. And this is where are we focusing on is, well, first we wanted a system, then we wanted to go faster, then we said we want to be more accurate. Now I want to predict that if I hire those 5 engineers, I'm going to build $1 billion company. Imagine that you already know the 5 individuals that need to come together to become a super team.
Right. So it sounds like, based on what you guys are looking to solve, is this work and efficiency building and team structure building. And it sounds like you're creating a streamlined almost resume that is a continually updating feed, almost.
Resume. The resume just goes back. It's a new profile. It's a human capacity spectrum aligned to a business culture spectrum and what they're trying to achieve. So you're getting rid of the resume. You get rid of the traditional job descriptions, right? So the company says, we're trying to achieve the following goals. These are the 5 individuals are going to get it done.
Right.
So you're not
So that data that is being streamlined into this process or this system, is this being manually updated by the employee at that rate, or how is that data being gathered?
The secret sauce. Yeah. So, well, first we started with the data inputs. We had to do it the old school. Then that old school turned into automation, and slowly we're porting information from different areas, and we're making sure that the data that we're capturing is data that's accessible, that's readable. We want to be within certain compliance and so forth. And also we add more data. And so by automating the process of being able to interact with an individual without being so intrusive in their daily tasks, that we're able to capture what are they doing? Hey, how are you feeling right now? So also kind of sentiment analysis based on experience. So you can kind of see the cognitive model there. And so what I'm saying, what we learned here, we started with an idea, and look at how much things change, because once you get into that rabbit hole, now we're saying, oh, well, first we wanted to build our own system to go faster, to have accuracy, or to management, right? And then at the same time, now we're like going, oh, we're going to be able to predict your future team. And so the data that we're capturing now, what we want to do is want to be less intrusive, but also that the person is able to generate a realistic model of who they are, even if they don't know, because you can use messaging apps. They can say, let me ask you a question, just answer real fast. That data goes into that that JSON file, and that JSON file can be read, and you can generate models, and the engineer is going to, or whoever is going, you're going to give them API access to the other applicant tracking systems, and you can charge for it if you want. So think about it.
Right.
You want to access my personal capacity data, resume data, or my profile data and who I am, pay me. That's what we should be going, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we did all this work, but it was an incredible journey. We had a lot of failures. We sidestepped. We had to pivot, and so, but we focus heavily on the technology, heavily on the main mission. We're focusing on what's really hard to do, right? So, and also it's about the right people doing the right things at the right time for us. You know, we learn a tremendous amount from that.
And so something I'm curious about, that my audience might be curious about as well, is this product something that an employee would use themselves and they would have access to, and they would be able to basically provide access to the new companies that they work for or contract for, and then their profile would be connected to the APIs of the company for all the tools, hypothetically, if they use like Jira or things like that, and they would
so
every single thing that they do.
There's some really cool companies out there that we're engaging in, and I gotta say, well, one is software.com, and the CTO Mason McLeod there, chatting with him. I just find it so incredible, the work that they're doing. They're able to read Jira and all these task management and stuff like that, and give you a report, an analysis of, hey, you know, these are complexity of tasks, these are what they're doing, here's their performance, here's how they're doing, blah. So they're on that same the parallel trajectory as us, that we're trying to figure out this information for us to make better decisions. Software.com. Another one, so if engineers or other people want to say, hey, I want to convert my resume into a JSON file, because if you convert your resume to a JSON file, any ATS can read it. Okay. If you download a LinkedIn profile, you can download it into a JSON. Okay. So there's jasonresume.org. Go check it out. It's an incredible open source tool that converts your data, your resume data, into a JSON file. So you can always, okay, that's another one. To answer your question, we are on our way there, that we still have to do the employee portal, and the employee portal is going to have all their updates and everything like that they can add in their experience, and then they can take it with them as they go into their next journey, right? And that's going to be in a JSON file. So yes, we are aiming to add like different communication, SMS and WhatsApp and so forth, just communication points where they can actually add data to their profile and then download it and take it with them, you know, so they can keep going. So yes, we are adding that, but that's later this year. Right now, we're focusing heavily on the technology. The NLP work, the human-centered AI work that we're actually currently working on right now, is about accessing accurate data, right? So we're doing heuristics training, meaning that our team is training the models for better identification and selection and prediction. And so for that to happen, you really need to structure your data. For any company that's getting into artificial intelligence, for me, it was, I got hit in the head, because I was like, whoa, I look like a drug addict looking for CPUs, man. I look like a crackhead looking for CPUs. I need CPUs. I need to process my data. And it's like, to get the modeling. And I'm like, oh my God. So whoever owns the CPUs market, they're going to make a lot of money, right? So what we decided, I mean, there's workarounds. You can daisy chain some computers together, get some, you know, you can run your models there, you know, and then eventually, but the data structure and classification is so critical for any kind of organization, right? There's some tools out there, but again, the market is rushing to bring tools out for companies, and eventually each company is going to become an AI company. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's happening already.
It's happening already, right? So every single organization, they're going from a mom and pop shop, and all of a sudden they have an AI driven organization, and they're going to do data sharing, and that data becomes, those insights become money, right? Those models, you want to feed those models going and so forth.
Right. No, absolutely. So how long have you guys been around?
7 years.
7 years. Wow. That's fantastic.
7 years. We're self-funded, bootstrapped, and we build our own technology. And because we focus on excellence, we focus on the science. We created our own scientific frameworks to be able to align with greater accuracy and velocity, human beings to business objectives and taking bias out of the equation. Once we got good at that, and we realized, we said, well, we should be called framework science. And so framework science is based on space exploration. That's our big, that's hard things to do. Those are the hardest things we can do. So yes, we have a spacesuit in the office.
That's awesome.
But again, we got inspired those. We got to say, look, if we're not doing what is hard, like John F. Kennedy said, if we're not doing what's really hard, then what are we doing? Right. So this is our hard work. This is what we focus. This is just at a sheer accident, but necessity. And then,
that's awesome. So before we close here, Lonnie, is there anything that you want to tell my audience, maybe about any events that you guys have coming up, or anything to keep them engaged with what you guys are doing?
We got some stuff coming up, but I can't really talk about it.
Okay, no worries.
No, just say more than anything, it's guidance. More than anything, everybody's thinking about getting to market and bringing their business to market and so forth. We work with startups, mid-sized and large ones. I'm going to say that having a clear understanding, focus on what you do really well. Mm-hmm. Don't go, you can go outside your comfort zone, but if you're self-funding yourself, you got to focus on what you excel and magnify that excellence, automate that excellence, then go and try do research and development to kind of expand on that. For us, mainly what's coming up is versionings of our platform is being white labeled. So we're being asked to bring this to Asia, to Europe, and right now we're testing in Latin America. We're going to be launching in the United States. We already have a company onboarding with our platform, and it's really funny. Our competition became our clients. Think about it. You're building something from the service, and you have competition. I think our competition is going to love what we did, and guess what? Yeah, they're lining up, but we're taking our time. The other thing, intellectual property, protect your stuff, document everything, have a really good architectural strategy, especially in the application. I learned the hard lesson. Don't rush to do microservices because those are very costly until you have enough cash. It's okay to have a monolith. And what else? There's plenty of other things too, but I'm also available. Anybody can reach out to me. I can share the story. I can share what we learned, and I'm always open. I'm not here to sell our services. I'm not here to do anything because, by the way, we don't have a sales and marketing team. We did this because of sheer word of mouth. We got a lot of referrals, so we're good on the sales side. But anybody looking to want to build, their engineering core. Hit us up. I can advise you, and because there's a lot of different services out there, and they can be confusing. So I can provide that kind of advice.
And you kind of beat me to it, but what's a good way for anybody in my audience to reach out to you, get connected, contact you if they have any?
Look me up. Look me up on LinkedIn. It's very simple. You have the URL linkedin.com/Lonnie. I've been in LinkedIn for a long time, man, since 2004.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, Lonnie, we really appreciate you coming on and just talking about everything with us. Really, really appreciate it. And for everyone, thank you for tuning in to the CloudSapio Cybersecurity Sync, and we will see you all next time. Thank you.